Hey there, it's Brian Conway here with another video for sales managers or business founders who are running a sales team. And again, I want to talk about this subject of AI. It's just so topical at the moment. That's kind of what everybody's discussing. So I want to share with you some thoughts and principles and some ideas around how AI can help you lead more effectively and also help your sales individual contributors be more efficient and effective in what they do. Now, if you don't know me, briefly, my name's Brian Conway. I've worked in sales for for decades literally, but I've also been engaged by some of the biggest tech companies in the world to help improve their sales performance. What I share in these videos is facts from a lot of the conversations that I have with a lot of my coaching clients. So sharing kind of insights and ideas and struggles and things that people like you are maybe facing, so I can give you some tips and ideas on how to manage, particularly now, the kind of this AI world and become more effective at what you do. So I share literally from meeting notes and things like that. So there's no slides, there's no comments that a video editor is going to put up on screen here around me. I'm literally just kind of sharing with you notes, kind of from the coalface, so to speak. And so I will be referring to it, just so you know. So the thing I want to talk about is, as I said, AI. AI is going to become and will need to become a core sales competency. And that's good. But a lot of the sales managers that I'm working with are saying things like they know their reps are experimenting with AI. They're just kind of worried about what they're doing with it and how to police that and control it all. And experimentation does sound quite risky, doesn't it? So that's what I want to talk a little bit about, kind of the pros and cons of using AI and things that you should maybe be thinking about as a sales leader, because it's no longer optional AI, is it? It's here for the future. And as I said, it can be a great asset, a great multiplier for you and your salespeople if it's done or used and applied effectively. So that's what kind of, as I said, we're going to be talking about, because that responsibility of policing its adoption and utilization comes to you. And if somebody does something silly, or that's maybe non-compliant, that could come back to you as well. So there's a lot of risk riding on your shoulders. So that's what I want to talk about. You really need to start thinking about things like where in your workflows AI can be used, what kind of prompts people should be using, how to use those prompts. I've talked about that in other videos as well. Prompting isn't just about cutting and pasting a prompt that somebody's found into a chat and then kind of just taking the result. How you use those prompts is a whole conversation in itself, not for now. But that's something you need to start thinking about, the tonality, the structure of prompts and all that sort of stuff. Maybe you start thinking about creating an AI playbook for your sales team. That's what I'm working with some of my clients on now. So often they will join me to learn how to coach more effectively and rescue underperforming salespeople. But then we start getting into conversations about how they can manage the whole team, particularly around AI. So that's sort of one thing. You also need to start thinking about, if people are using it, are they verifying the data that they're actually getting back? I've often had AI return facts and figures and statistics and things when I've been doing some market research on clients, which is great. But I will always push back and say, right, can you please send me a list of the sources, the actual URLs that you've used to identify this data. And then I will click on the URLs and validate and check that is accurate data if I'm going to use it in something that I'm doing from a sales capacity. So these are the sorts of things you need to start thinking about and how you build them into your sales leadership responsibilities. So that's kind of just some of the things to consider. So your role, as I said, first of all, is to set the standard. So that means you've got to become more competent with using AI yourself and thinking about its application in a frontline sales role. One of the things I said I would suggest and often work with people on is creating a playbook to define approved prompts and where in workflows to use them and how to use them, and giving some instruction around that. I said it's a great way for you coach from a coaching perspective. One of the things I teach a lot of my clients is how to build a coaching command center, we call it, where the AI actually becomes like a virtual coaching assistant for you. And that's great to do that because it really gives you some insight into how AI can be used, but also can hold you accountable for coaching and helping the improvement in performance of your individuals. So from a coaching fluency perspective, you need to start thinking about that. And also about kind of reinforcement of the application, because repetition is the mother of all skills, as we say. So you've got to make sure that people are doing stuff in a consistent way. And if they're all doing their own thing, you'll have chaos, and you cannot manage chaos. It becomes almost, it becomes impossible. So that's some things, as I said, I often talk about with some of my clients. The thing I think kind of to think about, or that you need to take away from this, is just clarifying. It's classic sales, okay? Where is somebody now, and where do you want to get them to? All right, that's selling, isn't it? Where's the customer today? Where do they want to be? And do we have a product or service that will help close that gap and to take them on that journey? So kind of when it comes to AI in your role, it's kind of the same thing. You need to think about, where are you now? How are you using AI? How could you use AI? Then take it down a level to your sales reps. So this may mean in your one-to-ones, start actually ask, how are you using AI today? Which AI tools are you using? What kind of output have they had? How have they used it? Has it been useful? Has it been disastrous or whatever? And start to get a picture of what is going on. Then start to ask your sales individual contributors, how do they think AI could help them? Start doing some research yourself on the benefits of AI to salespeople, looking for best practices around AI, etc. So, it's really just starting to, as a leader now, I need you to start thinking about the integration of AI as a sales competency and the rules that kind of go around it. As I said, making sure it's on brand, making sure it supports your values, making sure you're compliant in the way that it is used, making sure it's bringing value to the sales organization and not becoming a shining object or a distraction to their day-to-day work, helping, making sure it's enhancing what they do and the way that they do things. Because the last thing we want is to kind of get this wrong. You don't want to lose a deal because somebody's just put in some generic AI prompt that they found on the internet to get them to write an email which they've used, which hasn't been verified or validated, and which creates a problem and potentially loses you the deal. I mean, that'd be the worst case scenario, wouldn't it? So as I said, just want to, in this video, not talk about so much the how-to, but more about the kind of the why, things that you need to start thinking about as a sales leader, and it's the importance of AI in both your role and the roles of your individual contributors. Now, if this all kind of sounds interesting and you want some help, obviously you can reach out to me and I can tell you more about what I can do to help. But to leave you something to take away from this video, I'll put a link in the comments or in the description of this video, depending where you're watching it, to a cheat sheet that you can get from me, which has a series of AI prompts, and there's some training on how to use it, which is just as important, if not more important perhaps than the prompt themselves. But in particular, it'll help you diagnose underperformance kind of issues. One of the challenges a lot of salespeople, sales managers has, is actually trying to find what is the root cause of the problem. So I've got this this kind of framework that I use, the repair framework. It covers 6 kind of key areas of sales activity and will help you with these prompts and the training to really kind of pinpoint what might be wrong so that you can fix it, or where there's a potential weakness even with a high achiever that you could help improve, which would maybe take them to the next level. So if that would be of useful to you, and to kind of just start to lead you into this world of AI and how you can use it as a sales tool, hopefully you might find that useful. So the link's below. As I said, it's a cheat sheet and some training, totally free of charge, a gift from me, because as I said, my role here, as far as I'm concerned, is to help you really understand how AI can help you in your capacity as a sales manager, sales leader, business founder, etc., and improve the performance of your sales team, and more importantly, the value that they provide to your clients at the end of the day. So hope you found that useful. Please, if you haven't seen me before, make sure you follow me or subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube, etc., because each week I'm putting out snippets, tactics, and tips and things that will help you become a better sales leader. All right. Thanks for your time today. I'm Brian Conway. You take care and hope you have a great week ahead of you selling. Until next time, all the best. Bye-bye.